I was tidying the home office when I found the wire transfer printout. The printer paper had yellowed, the corners curled, as if someone had rubbed it again and again. On it, clear as daylight, were monthly transfers, 5,000, 8,000, once even 20, all to the same name, Maya. And the sender was my husband, Dominic. I pinched the sheet, my fingers shook. 10 years. A full decade. Our anniversary, he'd claimed overtime at heart. Daughter's 103-degree fever, he'd been with a client. The day my mother went under the knife, he'd slipped Maya 20 grand. I collapsed into the desk chair and remembered last week, Best's half-swallowed words, "Your Dominic's been pretty busy lately, huh?" Everyone knew. Only this fool still ironed his shirts and simmered stomach-soothing porridge, convinced he was simply overworked. My phone buzzed. A WhatsApp from Dominic, working late on the project, won't be home for dinner. I stared at the screen and burst out laughing. In 10 years he'd used the late project excuse 287 times, 186 of those coincided with transfers to Maya. The printer whirred and spat out a fresh receipt, today's date, $5,000. He'd set it to auto-print. He couldn't even be bothered to hide anymore. I snatched the car keys and ran. The navigation had Hart's address saved, but my fingers trembled so badly it took 3 tries to punch in the passcode. On the way I called Best. "Dig up someone for me, Maya. You finally saw it?" Best sighed. "She lives in a West Side condo called Maple. Dominic bought her the unit." A red light glared, I slammed the brakes. The birthday cake I'd bought for daughter slid off the back seat, whipped cream smearing the box, exactly like our marriage. Maple was gated, security wouldn't let me in. "I'm here to see Ms. Delaney in Building 7, I said. His eyes flickered oddly. "Ellis?" Even the guard knew me. Dominic's car sat in front of Building 7, champagne roses, my favorites, on the passenger seat. Last week on my birthday he'd sworn the florist was out of stock. The elevator mirror showed my ashen face, pajama top still splattered with daughter's breakfast strawberry jam. Behind Unit 1802's door came laughter and Dominic's unfamiliar croon, "Maya, put your slippers on." I lifted my phone, hit record, and pressed the doorbell with rock-steady fingers. A young woman in silk pajamas opened, belly gently rounded. Dominic appeared holding a fruit bowl, his smile froze. "Honey, let me explain. 4 months and 7 days pregnant," I said, zooming in on the investigator's report I'd just received. "You've been together 10 years, you started trying for a baby last year." Maya dropped to her knees. "Sis, I'm shameless. But 2 can't live without a daddy." Dominic bent to help her, sharper than any blade. I stepped back and heard my own eerily calm voice, 9 a.m. sharp tomorrow. Bring the marriage license. Meet me at City Hall. As the elevator doors shut, something porcelain shattered inside, maybe the fruit bowl, maybe whatever was left of my heart. Back home, daughter peeked from her room. "Mommy, Daddy promised me a Lego set." I knelt and hugged her, breathing in her strawberry shampoo, and finally broke down, soaking her teddy pajamas. "Mommy will buy it, the biggest box they have." Dominic never came home. At 3 a.m. I unearthed more loot in the home office, purchase contracts, prenatal reports, even Maldives boarding passes, dated the day I miscarried. Our wedding photo lay at the bottom of the safe. Me in a white bridal gown, grinning like an idiot, on the back, Dominic's vow from a decade ago, "I'll love you forever." I booted up the computer and exported every transfer. Attorney Wallace replied at 4 a.m., "You can sue to recover marital assets, including that condo." Dawn broke, the doorbell rang. Dominic, unshaven, waved the deed like a surrender flag. "Sign the condo over to you, just don't divorce me, okay?" I dialed in front of him. "Attorney Wallace, could you come right now?" He dropped to his knees and started slapping himself, loud enough to set the neighbor's dog barking. Meanwhile my phone kept buzzing, Maya texting ultrasound shots captioned, "Your husband says 2 has his nose." I deleted the thread and realized that in 7 years of marriage our chat history read, "What time will you be home? Don't forget the electric bill." His last message to her, "I'll marry you as soon as I'm free." Attorney Wallace arrived, pressed and immaculate, briefcase fat with documents. Glancing at Dominic still on the carpet, he merely asked, "Itemized asset list ready?" I handed over the transfers and the condo contract. Dominic's complexion bleached. The unit is post-marital property, recoverable, the lawyer intoned, adjusting his glasses. Likewise, these transfers constitute unilateral disposal of joint assets, fully refundable. Dominic lurched upright. Honey, I screwed up. It was a moment of madness. 10 years of monthly installments, OB visits, buying her a home, that's a hell of a moment, I cut in. Speechless, he slumped on the sofa, fingers raking his hair like a busted gambler. Attorney Wallace offered the papers. Riley, if you'd rather skip litigation, cooperate on the division. Dominic raised bloodshot eyes. You'll really go this far? I laughed. I'm the one going far? You funded another family with my money for a decade, now I'm the villain? His mouth opened, nothing came out. At last he lowered his head and signed. After Attorney Wallace left, Emery. Dominic sat in the living room like a statue until daughter shuffled out rubbing her eyes. Daddy? He sprang to hug her, she instinctively hid behind me. His arms froze mid-air, then managed a shaky smile. Daddy's swamped at work, but I'll take you to the amusement park soon, okay? She looked up for my cue. I stroked her hair and said nothing. When Dominic finally left and the door clicked shut, I slid down the wall, drained. My phone buzzed again, Maya. Sis, don't blame Dominic. I seduced him. I stared at the text, it was almost comic. 10 years and she hadn't updated her script. I replied, don't worry, I don't want him anymore, he's all yours. Then I blocked her number. The next morning, after I dropped daughter at kindergarten, I went straight to the bank. The clerk informed me, a $20,000 CD in your name matured last week. Riley withdrew it. My nails dug into my palms. That money had been my mother's dowry gift, untouched until now. I marched to Hart's headquarters. The receptionist's smile faltered. Ellis, Mr. Hart is in conference. I brushed past and shoved open his office door. Dominic hovered over documents, Maya perched beside him, cradling a coffee. A second of frozen air. Maya jumped, sloshing coffee down her blouse. Dominic barked, what are you doing here? I slapped the bank slip onto the desk. You dared touch my mother's money? His jaw locked, then lowered to a whisper, just a short-term loan, I'll repay next month. With what? My salary feeding her? Whispers swarmed outside the glass walls. Flushed, Dominic grabbed my elbow. Let's discuss this at home. I jerked free and turned to Maya. Sure the baby in your belly is his? Her face drained white. Dominic slammed a fist on the desk. What the hell are you implying? Nothing much, I shrugged. Just funny timing, you were on a 3-month trip last year, she conceived the week you returned. Maya shrieked, you're slandering me, I'd had enough. Spinning on my heel, I left. Dominic chased me to the elevator bank. What do you want? He hissed. Divorce, I said, meeting his glare. House, savings, daughter's custody, I'm taking the lot. Over my dead body, then court it is. I pressed the call button. And I'll be sure to CC your entire company chat on the blockbuster details. His mask finally cracked. Just before the elevator doors shut, I heard him grind out through clenched teeth, you're ruthless. Back home, a text from an unknown number pinged in. Sis, Dominic doesn't love you at all. He hasn't touched you in ages, right? I stared at the screen and burst out laughing, so that's why he'd been too tired every night for the last 6 months. I typed back, yup. Congrats on scoring my leftovers. Then I tossed the phone onto the couch, opened my laptop, and started drafting the divorce agreement. This time I was going to leave him with nothing but the shirt on his back. The night the papers were finished, Dominic came home. He stood in the doorway, suit rumpled, tie skewed, eyes bloodshot. I leaned against the jamb and didn't let him in. Talk, he rasped. 10 minutes. I glanced at my watch. You're out by 9. Olivia has school tomorrow. A bitter smile. You won't even let me inside my own house? My house, I said evenly. Your stuff is boxed. Someone will drop it at Hart tomorrow. His face twitched, then he lowered his head. Fine. In the living room we sat like hostile lawyers across a conference table. His gaze kept snagging on the divorce agreement, his fingers drummed his knee. House stays with me, savings split 50-50, full custody of daughter, monthly support from you, I recited. Any objections? His head snapped up. I'm not giving up daughter. Should have thought about her before you started screwing around. I sneered. No comeback. Finally he muttered, can I have another chance? I studied him, the absurdity hitting me like cold water. After 10 years, the first time he begged was when he was about to lose everything. Dominic, I said slowly, know what's funniest? It's not you and Maya. I pulled up the bank statements on my phone. Every dollar you lavished on her for 10 years came out of my paycheck. His face drained of color. You make 30 grand a year, claimed cash flow problems, so I paid daughter's tutoring. Turns out the cash was flowing straight into Maya's account. I smiled. Sign, I'll pay you back, he whispered. Keep it. I slid the agreement across the coffee table. Just sign. The pen trembled in his hand. The nib hovered forever before it scratched his crooked name. The instant he finished, he seized my wrist. I'm sorry, I yanked free. Too late. Next morning on the kindergarten run, Olivia asked, Mommy, does Daddy not want us anymore? I knelt, straightening her backpack straps. Daddy just won't live with us, he still loves you, only differently now. She nodded, half understanding, and scampered inside. Watching her go, my throat burned. My phone buzzed in the parking lot, another unknown caller. Ellis, I'm Maya's best, a sharp voice snapped. Did you know your husband knelt outside her condo all night? I laughed. And, you're heartless. He apologized, wished them a happy ever after. I hung up and blocked the number. I'd barely reached my car when a black sedan screeched in front of me. Dominic jumped out, eyes wild. Happy now? I frowned. About? An anonymous email blasted my chats with Maya to the entire board. I'm on administrative leave. I didn't send it. Who else? He roared. Maybe Maya? You begged me to come back last night, then ran to her. She's probably furious. He froze as if tasered. I opened my door. Lesson, Dominic, the world doesn't orbit you. That afternoon Attorney Wallace called. He's contesting the divorce, claims custody, grounds, alleges you're mentally unstable, unfit to raise two. I laughed. Desperate dogs leap highest. Attorney Wallace, find out where Maya works. What are you planning? Delivering a gift. St. Camilla's Private Hospital. I waited around a corner until nurse waddled over, belly just beginning to show, laughing with a coworker. Younger, prettier in a soft, fragile way. She spotted me, the smile shattered. Coffee? I offered. She folded both arms over her bump. We've got nothing to say. It's about Dominic. I kept my smile pleasant. Sure you don't want to hear? Reluctant, she followed me to the garden, sunlight flashing off the diamond on her ring finger, the exact band I'd picked for my own wedding. Dominic's fighting the divorce and suing me for custody, I began. Maya paled. He promised he'd divorce me and marry you? I locked eyes with her. A nurse's salary can't finance his lifestyle. When he realized he'd lose the house, the savings, and probably his job, suddenly he hesitated. Liar. Her fists bunched in her scrub top. I hit play on my phone. Dominic's voice, raspy from last night. Maya's a damn nurse, what can she earn? If I actually divorce, I'll be eating air. Then clip 2, whether the kid's even mine is sketchy, she's awfully cozy with Dr. Chen. Maya sprang up, tears streaming. You're disgusting, less disgusting than cheating spouses. I pocketed the phone. Convince him to sign within 72 hours and these memos stay off the hospital group chat. Otherwise, every intern on staff gets an earful. Deal? She shook like a leaf. You're blackmailing me? Call it negotiation. I walked away, sunlight needling my eyes. Turns out playing the villain isn't that hard. That evening Dominic rang nonstop. When I finally picked up, he exploded. You visited Maya? What did you tell her? I told her the truth. She's breaking up with me. Then you're free to fight me for daughter. Focus, right? A choked silence. What do you want? He growled at last. Simple. Sign the divorce, relinquish custody, vanish from our lives. Never. Then prepare for obliteration. I kept my voice soft. You know I'll do it. Heavy breathing, like a trapped animal. Give me time. His voice cracked. 3 days. I cut the line. Next dawn Olivia ran a fever. I took the day off, coaxing cool washcloths across her burning cheeks as she whimpered, "Daddy." At noon the doorbell rang. Dominic stood outside clutching a pharmacy bag. "I heard Olivia's sick. I've got medicine. Let me see her, just a minute." His voice shook. I stepped aside. He crept into her room, knelt, brushed her bangs back. Half asleep, Olivia curled her fingers around his. "Daddy." Dominic's shoulders convulsed. Suddenly he pivoted and dropped to his knees before me. "Honey, I was wrong, so wrong." I retreated a pace. "Get up. Give me one more chance. I'll cut Maya off, sign anything, I just want you and daughter." Looking at his tear-soaked face, I felt nothing but a cold, hollow distance. "Dominic," I whispered, "do you know what I hate the most? It's not that you cheated, it's that you, Dom, had every chance to turn back. The first wire transfer 10 years ago, the first flirty text she sent 8 years ago, even when she got pregnant 6 months ago, you could have stopped. But you chose to keep lying, until I caught you red-handed." He froze, his hands slowly letting go. "Now you're kneeling here, not because you're sorry you cheated," I smiled, "not sorry at all. You're on your knees because the price turned out to be too high." He tilted his head up, the hope in his eyes drained away. "Sign." I turned and walked toward the living room. "Don't let daughter see you like this." 3 days later, Dominic signed. He gave up custody, "The house is mine," and we split the savings. Attorney Wallace said it was the best outcome I could get. When we stepped out of the town hall office, the sun was gorgeous. Dominic lingered on the bottom step, words stuck in his throat. "Olivia's parent-child day next week. I'll tell her you're busy." I cut him off. He gave a bitter laugh, turned, and left. Watching his back, I suddenly remembered the year I turned 20. He stood under my dorm balcony with a megaphone, shouting my name, promising to love me forever. The sunlight that day had been just as bright. My phone buzzed, Olivia's kindergarten teacher. "Dear Olivia's mom, next week's family field day needs both parents to attend." I replied, "I'll be there on time." As for the father column, I figured leaving it blank wouldn't be the end of the world. Field day dawned, the sun so bright it stung. Daughter wore a red sports shirt, her little hand clutching mine while her eyes kept flicking toward the gate. "Daddy's really not coming?" she asked softly. I crouched to straighten her race number. "Daddy's busy at work. Mommy will compete with you, okay?" She nodded, but the sparkle in her eyes dimmed. On the field most parents came in pairs, the twos bouncing excitedly between mom and dad. Only daughter and I stood like a lonely island. "Olivia," a bright voice rang out. I looked up. Daughter's best friend Lily was dragging her father over, a gentle, glasses-wearing man I'd seen at the last PTA meeting. An IT director, rumor said, a single dad. "Let's team up," Lily chirped. "My dad's super strong." Daughter's eyes lit up, she glanced at me, hopeful. Before I could answer, the loudspeaker blared, "Families for the three-legged race, please line up at the track." That was how we became a squad. Chase knelt, patiently strapping the girls' legs together, his long fingers careful not to pinch. "Your daughter's adorable," he said suddenly, looking up. Sunlight bounced off his lenses. I couldn't read his eyes, but my cheeks inexplicably grew warm. When the whistle blew, we clicked better than expected. The two giggled up front, Chase and I steadied their shoulders, strides matching perfectly. "Left, right, left," he counted, voice calm and steady. We crossed the finish first. Daughter dove into my arms. "Mommy, we won." Lily hugged her dad, shouting with joy. Chase smiled at me, tiny sweat beads on his forehead. "Great teamwork." Right then it hit me. The sun shines just as brightly without Dominic. After the games, Chase offered us a ride home. In the back seat, the girls traded prize chocolates and chattered nonstop. From the mirror he glanced at me. "I heard you're house hunting?" I blinked. "How did you know?" Lily said Olivia told her you're moving. "I have a friend in real estate, happy to keep an eye out." I hesitated. "Taylor, but..." "Purely neighborly," he interrupted gently. "No ulterior motive." At our gate, daughter had fallen asleep. Chase lifted her out like he'd done it 100 times. "She's so light," he whispered. When Lily was this age I could barely carry her anymore. Under the street lamp his profile looked sharp, a faint scar near his eye adding toughness. "Taylor for today, Uncle Chase." Daughter woke, rubbing her eyes. "Can we play again next week?" He laughed. "Of course." He looked at me, waiting. I nodded, not quite knowing why. The moment we got home, Dominic called. How was parent day? Was Olivia happy? His voice oozed flattery. Fine, I answered curtly. I heard you were with that Mercer guy. I hung up. The phone rang again. I switched it off. After my shower, a dozen unread WhatsApps waited, every one from Dominic. The last was a photo, Maya's ultrasound, text reading intrauterine pregnancy, fetal demise. Immediately after, karma. This is karma. Staring at the screen, I felt sick. The man who once swore he loved her was now using her tragedy to curry favor. I replied, Dominic, you're disgusting, then blocked every trace of him. While apartment hunting that weekend, I ran into Chase at the gate. Lily was hopping beside him. He looked startled. Fancy meeting you here. Daughter was already holding Lily's hand. You're viewing places too? I live here, he said, pointing at a nearby building. When I heard you might move in, I thought you'd what? Do a recon, check which preschools are good. I was stunned. Sunlight filtered through the plane trees, dappling his shoulders. The girl's laughter rang like wind chimes. Chase, I said, taking a breath, I'm not ready for a new relationship. I know, he answered. I only wanted to say, there are still people in this world who can make you believe in love again. A breeze rustled the leaves. Looking into his earnest eyes, I suddenly teared up. So healing can feel warm. Moving day brought Lily. Chase helped, shirt soaked as he hauled my solid wood bookcase. The girls tore through empty rooms, their giggles ricocheting off white walls. Can the shelf go here? He asked. I handed him water. Take a break, you've done enough. When he drank, his Adam's apple bobbed. The scar glowed faint pink in the sun. Last night daughter had asked, Mommy, how did Uncle Chase get that boo-boo? Need the ladder? His voice yanked me back. He pointed to the high rail for the curtain rod, which looked crooked. I steadied the ladder while he adjusted the hook. His scent, cool mint, was close. That scar? I blurted. His hand paused. Car crash 3 years ago. Lily's mom died on the spot. He finished, jumped down. Try it now. I pulled, the curtain swept open, sunlight flooding in. Everyone carries wounds, some just keep walking with them. That evening I treated Chase and Lily to dinner. While the girls played in the kids' zone, Chase said, Dominic came to see me. My fork clattered. When? Yesterday. He told me to stay away from his honey. I laughed in disgust. We're divorced. I told him that, Chase said, adjusting his glasses. Then he warned me you're high maintenance, controlling, a neat freak. He knows me so well, I sneered. Chase reached over, resting his hand on mine. I think raising daughter to be so sweet and keeping life in order is amazing. His palm was warm, I forgot to pull away. From the play area came daughter's squeal as she ran over waving a crayon drawing. Mommy. Uncle Chase. Look, me and Lily drew our big family. 4 lopsided figures, 2 pigtailed girls, a glasses daddy, a long-haired mommy. My throat tightened. Chase took it casually. Awesome. May I keep it? Daughter nodded hard. Lily added, Olivia says it's our new house. Silence fell. I stood in a fluster. I'll go pay the bill. On the way home, daughter was drowsy against my shoulder. Chase walked beside me, Lily equally sleepy in his arms. The street lamp stretched our shadows until the 4 silhouettes melted together, looking for all the world like one family. Next Saturday. Chase spoke suddenly, it's Lily's birthday, and she wants to invite Olivia. I nodded. Okay, come too. His voice was soft. Just a simple dinner. The night wind tangled my hair. When I reached to smooth it, my hand brushed his arm. We both flinched as if we'd been shocked, then laughed at the same instant. Okay. I said it again. That single syllable felt like a key turning gently in a long-locked door. That was when Dominic appeared. He stepped from the tree shadow like a ghost, eyes fixed on the arm Chase had around Lily. I told you to stay away from my honey. Daughter woke with a start and muzzily called, Daddy. Chase instinctively shifted Lily behind him. Riley, watch your words, you're divorced. You're not the one to lecture me. Dominic lunged and grabbed Chase by the collar. Lily began to cry in fright. Daughter trembled in my arms. Dominic. I snapped. You're scaring too. He let go, only to swing toward me. Do you even know who he is? I checked, his death wasn't an accident. Chase's face drained of color. Stop the nonsense. I stepped between them. That crashed 3 years ago, he was the only survivor. Dominic sneered. Who knows whether. Crack. Chase's fist slammed into Dominic's face. I had never seen gentle, elegant Chase lose control. He looked like a raging lion, glasses skittering across the pavement and snapping in half, the scar on his temple livid in the moonlight. Don't you speak of her, he rasped. Not in front of two. Dominic wiped the blood from his nose and climbed to his feet, grinning. Hit a nerve, huh? Chase raised his fist again, but I caught his arm. The girls are watching. The fire in his eyes died, guilt flooded in. I'm sorry. He knelt to gather Lily, but the child shrank back in fear. A needle seemed to twist in my heart. Dominic seized the moment. See? This is the guy you get lost. I met his stare. Or I call the cops right now and report harassment. He cursed under his breath and staggered away, a stray dog of a man. After two were safely asleep, I found Chase on the balcony. He stood in the moonlight, the crumpled family photo pinched between his fingers, shoulders sagging. That crash. His voice was hoarse. I was driving. I waited. We'd been arguing. She told me to stop. His knuckles whitened. Just as I slowed, the truck lost control. The night air was chilly. I handed him a mug of hot tea. For 3 years I've wondered, if we hadn't fought, if I'd driven steadier. Chase. I cut him off. Lily needs you. He lifted his head, his eyes glistened in the moonlight. The girls were terrified tonight, but they'll forget. What matters is tomorrow. He stared at me, then suddenly pulled me into a fierce embrace. It felt like a drowning man clinging to driftwood. I didn't push away, I simply smoothed his back. From the bedroom came daughter's sleepy murmur, Uncle Chase. We let go at the same time and traded a small smile. In that instant I understood. Some people enter your life not to fill an empty space, but to show you that even scarred hearts can dare to love again. Lily's birthday party was simple, held in Chase's the living room. I brought daughter half an hour early to help decorate. When I rang the bell, Chase's flustered voice rang out, "Wait a second. Cameron." When the door opened I froze. Chase's hair stuck up every which way, one shirt button was in the wrong hole, and flour streaked his cheek. A faint burnt smell drifted from the living room. On the dining table sat a lopsided cake slathered in whipped cream, the words Lily 5 spelled out in strawberry jam. I tried to bake it myself. He scratched his head. Total failure. Daughter peeked out from behind me, eyes shining. Uncle Chase, you're amazing. Way better than my daddy. Chase knelt to her level. Your daddy bakes cakes too? Daddy only buys them. Daughter wrinkled her nose. And he always picks the wrong flavor. My throat tightened. Last year Dominic had shown up with a coffee-flavored cake. He dom knew daughter hated coffee. Need help? I rolled up my sleeves. My cookies are decent. Chase's Hart household kitchen looked like a war zone, flour dusted every surface, the mixer dripping unbeaten egg white. I laughed. Are we baking or invading? His ears turned red. First time, while we kneaded, our arms kept brushing. The warmth through thin cotton reminded me of the night he'd held me. That night. He began, meaning Dominic's ambush. What Dominic said, doesn't matter. I cut him off, pressing dough into a mold. What matters is now. The wall oven glowed soft orange, warmth painting our faces. In the living room the girls built castles from blocks, their giggles like wind chimes. So ordinary it made me want to cry. When the candles were lit, Lily suddenly whispered, "I want mommy." The room went still. Chase's hand shook, candlelight jumped across his lenses. I slipped my fingers through his palm was icy with sweat. Mommy turned into a star, daughter piped up, patting Lily's shoulder. My daddy turned into a star too. I stared, I'd never fed her that story. Lily blinked away tears. Really? Really? Daughter nodded hard. Tonight I'll show you, the brightest one. Chase glanced at me, eyes glistening. I gave a tiny shake, leave the lie alone. After two blew out the candles, Chase murmured, "Tailor you. For what? For letting daughter." His voice cracked. Give Lily a gentle lie. Outside, a single bright star winked. Watching it, I thought, some lies are kinder than truth. When the party ended, Chase walked us downstairs. The night breeze was soft, daughter was already asleep on my shoulder. Chase blurted, "There's a new planetarium show next month, supposed to have shooting stars. Want to come?" I teased, "Is that a date invitation?" His face flushed crimson. If you think it's too soon, Chase." I stopped him. "We've known each other 3 months and 17 days. He blinked. "I run into you twice a day when I pick up too. We bump carts every weekend, and the realtor I used is your buddy. Coincidence?" I smiled. Under the moon his Adam's apple bobbed. If it's a date," I said gently, "my answer is yes." His eyes filled with starlight. Dominic chose that moment to reappear. He stood beneath the maple street lamp clutching the Lego set daughter had begged for, a frozen castle. "Olivia's birthday is coming." His voice was hoarse, gaze flicking between Chase and me. Daughter stirred and murmured, "Daddy." Dominic seized on it, stepping closer. "Daddy brought you a present." Daughter shrank into me. "Mommy says we don't take gifts from strangers." His hand froze midair. "I'm your daddy, you signed away visitation." I kept my voice cold. "That forfeits the title." "Leave." He turned on Chase. "You think she actually likes you?" "She's using you to get back at me." Chase adjusted his glasses calmly. "Riley, your daughter is watching." The words speared Dominic. He staggered back, the Lego box thudding to the ground. "Olivia." He quavered. "Daddy knows he messed up." Daughter buried her face in my neck. At last he bent, set the box down gently, and trudged away, a broken old man swallowed by the night. The moment we walked through the front door, Daughter tugged my sleeve. "Mommy, is Daddy really sad?" My hand, halfway through tucking the comforter under her chin, froze. "Maybe. Then do we have to forgive him?" I clicked off the bedside lamp. In the dark I whispered, "Forgiveness is a luxury, and not everyone can afford it." She made a small, thoughtful sound and rolled over. Within seconds her breathing steadied. I stood at the window, eyes fixed on the brightest star, the one she still called Daddy Star, when my phone vibrated. "Chase, weather says rain next week. Don't forget Olivia's umbrella." Another bubble popped up before I could answer. P.S. I checked the planetarium schedule. Saturday afternoon's the quietest. I couldn't help smiling. Bring Lily, and use less sugar next time. Outside, the bright star winked, as though it, too, had finally exhaled. The planetarium dome felt like an upturned sky. Olivia and Lily darted ahead, fingers laced, squealing each time a new constellation bloomed above them. Chase hovered behind, glancing back every few steps to be sure I hadn't vanished. "You look more nervous than the two," I teased, handing him a bottle of water. His fingers brushed mine, trembling faintly. "First date. Scared I'll blow it." "This isn't a date." I tilted my chin toward the girls. "At best it's a playdate summit." Chase stopped dead. Indigo starlight washed over him. Behind the lenses his eyes were almost dawn-bright. "Then, next time can we leave the two at home?" My heart stumbled. Before I could answer, Olivia shrieked and sprinted back. "Mommy!" "Shooting star." We tilted our heads in unison. A silver scratch appeared across the artificial sky, then a second, a third, until the entire dome rained light. "Make a wish." Lily yanked Chase's sleeve. I squeezed my eyes shut and heard him murmur, "I wish." "Don't say it or it won't come true," the girls chorused. He zipped an imaginary zipper across his lips, eyes crinkling. While the stars revolved, I stole a look at his profile. The thin scar along his cheekbone looked almost tender in the blue glow, like a kiss left by a careless star. Outside, twilight smelled of cut grass and popcorn. Chase crouched, wrestling with 4 small sneakers and 2 stubborn pairs of bunny ear laces. Olivia whispered something that turned his ears scarlet. He shot me a panicked glance. On the walk back I asked, "What did Olivia say?" He kept his gaze on the path, pushing the stroller one-handed. "She asked if she could call me Dad." My stride hitched. I told her no, of course, way out of line. The setting sun stretched his shadow clear across the road. I stepped onto it like a bridge. Actually, my phone rang. "Dominic." I hesitated, then answered. Slurred words spilled out. "I'm at your gate. If I don't see Olivia I'll..." Tires shrieked in the background. Chase yanked the phone from my hand. "Dominic. You've been drinking, do not drive." The line went dead. We stared at each other, color draining from both our faces. By the time we reached Maple, red and blue lights strobed across the manicured hedges. Dominic's sedan had folded around the iron railing, the airbag hung limp, streaked with red. Paramedics lifted him onto a stretcher, blood threading through his hair. Mild concussion, fractured left tibia, the attending doctor said after a quick exam. No cranial bleeding. He'll live. I exhaled so hard my knees wobbled, only then realizing Chase was crushing my hand. Mommy. Olivia tugged my hem. Is Daddy gonna die? I folded her into my arms. No, sweetheart. He's just banged up. While Chase crouched to explain things to Lily in soft, steady tones, I watched his back and understood, real love isn't possession, it's standing guard over the very things she can't bear to lose, even when those things answer to the name Dominic. The hospital corridor glowed a sterile white. When Dominic regained consciousness, the first word out of his split lip was, sorry. Bandages circled his head, bruises bloomed beneath both eyes, aging him a decade overnight. I thought, if I got hurt, you'd come. I stood at the foot of the bed, suddenly exhausted. Dominic, it's always about you. Tears slid toward his temples. I really know I messed up. Knowing and changing are two different currencies. I kept my voice low. For 6 months you followed me, harassed Chase, and tonight you drove drunk. That's not love, that's entitlement. A nurse stepped in to swap the 4-bag, pausing the confessional. Through the window I saw Chase and the two chasing each other across the lawn. Olivia rode his shoulders, laughter ringing like wind chimes. Dominic tracked my gaze and gave a weak, rueful chuckle. He's better than me, huh? I didn't answer. Tell Olivia. He swallowed, throat clicking. Tell her Daddy Star has to travel far, far away for a long time. The last sliver of sun slipped beneath the sill, brushing the bed with gold, an affectionate farewell rather than a promise. 3 months later we spread a checkered blanket under a sugar maple canopy. Olivia and Lily darted after migrating butterflies while Chase uncorked sparkling cider. He settled behind me, chin on my shoulder. Cold? I shook my head and leaned back against his chest. Across the field Olivia waved a buttercup overhead. Mommy. Chase. Look, my lucky flower. Chase beckoned her over. Want to hear a secret? For tiny palms covered 4 eager mouths, 2 pairs of eyes widened like saucers. He glanced at me for the nod, then whispered, Mommy and I are getting married. Olivia blinked, squealed, and spun in a circle. So you can be my dad? Chase's eyes glistened. Only if you want me to. She thrust the buttercup into the sky. I have a daddy. Lily joined the victory dance. Hand in hand the two stampeded through the grass, scattering a flurry of doves. Chase laced our fingers. The thin silver band on my left hand caught the light. I made my planetarium wish out loud, you know, doesn't that break the rules? He brushed his lips across my knuckles. The star said yes anyway. A breeze lifted, sending dandelion parachutes across the sapphire sky. Olivia barreled into us, knocking us into a laughing heap, buttercups and autumn leaves swirling like confetti. High above, a single shooting star scratched a quick, bright signature. This time, nobody needed to wish. Thank you for staying until the end. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If it touched you, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt stories. See you next time.